Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus here again, and I'm speaking on what I consider wisdom for the world. A moment, I know I'm looking ugly. I don't have time to straighten up. I just had a thought, and I want to share it to you while it's on my mind. I was in peeling a pear because I feel so terrible this morning. I'm thinking somebody trying to kill me, and I'm focused. I'm definitely focused. And what came to me was that apple. It hit me because what I have found in my 65 years of living is that the most beautiful creature on the face of the earth is not man. It might be to God, but to man it's a woman, unless he kind of gave me another man or so on and so forth. But it's a woman. I thought about that apple in the garden. Apple or fruit, very good, edible. But it hit me. The apple is a representation of the vagina. And when God said, don't eat off these trees, you can eat out of all these trees. When the Spirit said you can eat out of all these trees, but one tree don't you touch of, the tree of knowledge, good and evil. They were talking about that vagina. That vagina. And to read the way you learn of evil and good and stuff after disobeying God is what you bring into the world. What you bring into the world is exactly a representation of what you are. And I don't care how you try to correct it, you can't correct it. You can try to treat it as you want to, teach it all the best things you know how that you might have learned. And as soon as they walk out of the house, a lot of them fall right into that trap of what somebody will say, what some stranger has to say. Now, what am I saying? God made the vagina for it to bring perhaps pleasure to man. But the number one thing God created that apple for was to produce humans into the earth. But God did not want Adam to touch that apple until he told him to. In other words, do not means do not. And to abstain from it means you trust God. And at the time when you are doing what God says do, what are you doing? You are learning of God. You are learning of your parent. You are learning who and what God is and who and what you are. You found out that you, by being obedient to God, are a child of God. That's what you learn. And after you learn and you're down here on this earth, then God gives you permission to eat that apple. And when you eat that apple, you create a world of different kind of people. A world of loving, kind, wonderful people. People who believe in peace, prosperity, joy, happiness, and all those things that you believe are divine and heavenly. But if you don't do that, you get just the opposite. And what we have on the earth today is the opposite. We always have had the opposite since that time. Always have had the opposite. That apple. Eating it before time. And then creating something, then going before God saying, oh, I haven't done nothing wrong. I can see him right now. Maybe he didn't see God, but his spirit, his consciousness, what they call that thing? Your conscience, yeah. On him. He dying to deny it. I ain't done nothing there. You know what it's doing. What do you women do every day when your parents say you don't have sex and you go out and have sex and then you come and I ain't do nothing? And when you get pregnant, what do you say? Oh, the first time. Well, Eve and Adam was lying to themselves. And then one day something happened where they started showing. She started showing. Now, why they trying to find some leaves to cover themselves? What are they trying to cover? Cover Eve's big fat belly. Oh boy. And all of a sudden, she'll reap what you sow. Now the seed that was planted is bringing back what? Another you. And it comes out of pain and suffering because you did not deserve to have the luxury of a beautiful, uncorrupted birth delivery. Now, to make a long story short, I don't want to go past this, is this. The apple is the vagina between a woman's leg. Do not eat off the. You can eat. Experience everything out here. Everything. You can't imagine anything in the garden that was corruptible. Nothing in the garden was corruptible. Nothing in the garden was corruptible. Nothing. Just disobedience. And what would make a man disobey? A tree, a green, an apple. Well, let's see what this apple is. And there you go. Now, personally, what I think that really means, I think Eve probably ended up playing with herself. Because Adam probably did too. And all of a sudden they figured, well, wait, maybe we should check this out, what happened when we do it together. I'm just speculating now. I don't know that for sure. I'm just speculating. And so they go there, and what they do is they do it. And when they do it, they don't know what's going to happen. So as long as they can pretend like they tell themselves they hadn't done nothing, it was cool. But when that belly popped up, then my first time, well, it doesn't matter. It's there. And here you are. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I say to you, that's where that thing comes from. That apple is a vagina and sex. Sex before time. Sex before you ready. My mother had me when I was 13 years old. Excuse me, let me say that again. My mother got pregnant with me when she was 13. I was born when she was 14. My mother couldn't take care of me. My mother couldn't provide for me. Not only could my mother not provide for me, my grandmother couldn't provide for me. And so I was passed over to my great-grands. You see that? All out of order. All out of order. But that came about because of disobedience. And we're in war, crime, and violence, and terrorism, and all that kind of stuff right now. Lying, demonic presidents, and demonic trilateral commissions, and CFRs, and all of these organizations on the face of the earth are demonic. Why? Because they're not trying to lead you to God. And the church is supposed to lead you to God, but it's been infiltrated by a lack of knowledge and jokers who are who have allowed the lie to come into them. And so, maybe right now, I can feel a little better. I hope I can feel better. I've shared the truth with you. Bye-bye.